Well, happy January 7th, 2021 to all of you out there in this great big world. Yes, this is your brother Dana coming to you from the city of Chicago. Shalom to all of you, my Hebrew family members, those who are the precious chosen children of the Most High Yah. And I also want to say shalom to the rest of us, whether we be a Gentile, alien, or a stranger. But what we have done is we have recognized who the true chosen people are. And we are now cleaving to you with all our might. And why are we able to cleave to you? Actually, it's because we have done something that white evangelicals have not done, and you saw it yesterday. And what am I talking about? Well, I think I'm talking about the original stronghold sin that even took Lucifer out, called pride. Genesis chapter 12, and Christians, evangelicals, Christianity, you declare this, that the Lord said to Abram, go from your country, your people, and your father's household to the land I will show you, that I will make you a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you, I will curse, and all peoples on earth will be blessed through you. So this is where I get hung up. Our forefathers, whether you believe it or not, but due to the lies and due to the covering up that Christianity, Roman Catholicism, and all the nations that have been against God's chosen people have done, they've covered up what our forefathers knew years ago, generations ago, that our black brothers and sisters today that have been enslaved in our nation, brought to us from Africa, were the true chosen people of God. They were the true Hebrews. Our forefathers knew that. But the same sin in them is manifesting itself today in white evangelicalism. See, let me read and I might lose you for a second, but hold on. Let me read to you what I found in my Christian literature when it described what caused Lucifer to fall. And so as it says, as a creation of God, it said that Lucifer was created for good. Genesis 1:31, Ezekiel 28:13. In fact, it says Scripture asserts that Lucifer started out as blameless in all his ways and as the model of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. Ezekiel 28:12-15. Further, God's ordination of Lucifer as a cherub demonstrates that God trusted Lucifer enough to give him a position of power among the heavenly angels, Ezekiel 28:14. However, Lucifer wasn't satisfied with the power and gifts God gave him. Instead, Lucifer wanted more. Lucifer became so consumed with pride over his God-given splendor, over his white skin, evangelicals, that he became corrupt and violent, no longer willing to serve under the true God. So therefore, like you, my white evangelical family members, you have created the God of Christianity that is a God of white superiority, which then doesn't hold you accountable for you, like Lucifer, not only unwilling to be less than the Most High's chosen children, but to be greater than them, but it's also your desire to be greater than God. That is why you make your white skin as if it is a god, that people of color must bow down to you. Same sin as Lucifer. Everything that God had given him wasn't good enough. He wanted more. And he became so consumed with himself that he turned evil and corrupt. Our forefathers knew, so you say they knew the Bible, But they knew those people, the Africans that they were enslaving. They knew they were the chosen people. But yet it wasn't good enough for them. I mean, let's look at even some of the founding people of this country. They hated the white Jews as well. Why? Because see, it wasn't good enough for you just to be blessed through them. You wanted to be above them. And so then therefore, throughout these years, we had to create the white Ashkenazi Jews with white skin that would then confirm or back up the image of the white Jesus we created, which then we had to create a religion of Christianity that then encompassed all these lies while removing out certain truths, so that what? So that we as white evangelical individuals could put ourselves in a position of splendor to be greater than God Himself. It's the same sin. It's the same thing. And we know they've been greater, because let me say this. In Exodus chapter 14, when Pharaoh wanted to try to limit their numbers to keep them under oppression, what did he say? He asked the Hebrew housewives, the maidens, to go and to kill the baby when they're born, as they're being birthed. But guess what these housewives said? They said, no, these Hebrew women are vigorous. They're not like us Egyptian women, which means they're not like any other woman created, because they were the chosen people and they were vigorous, which means that they were strong, healthy, and full of energy. That's why through all these years, white America, you've done scientific things on them, unknowing to them, because they are super and strong, and you want to take out from them to put into us that strength that they're born with. There's no way our white forefathers built no pyramids in the desert. We don't have the strength as Caucasian people. There's no way we labored out in the fields. Even we can't do it in this country, let alone in the desert of Egypt. We don't have the strength to do it. We couldn't even build our own White House. We couldn't even build the foundation of this nation. It was built off of the backs of our black slaves. And anytime they showed their vigor, their vigorous power, their strength, like Black Wall Street, like Rosewood, white evangelical America marched in and did what do you want to call this? Did their insurrection to Rosewood, to Black Wall Street in the 1920s, a black city that was probably the greatest city in the United States. So what did we do? We burnt it to the ground in a couple of days. Why? Because we had to still try to hide the truth. And then when all of our black family members created all of these inventions that I don't have time to even share with you. No, you didn't destroy their inventions because you needed them to live. So you took credit for those inventions. And then, just like Exodus chapter 14, over all these 400 years, we have done everything in our power to make their lives bitter, with harsh labor in brick and mortar and with all kinds of work in the fields. In all their harsh labor, the Egyptians, the white evangelical Americans, have worked our black brothers and sisters ruthlessly. And after all this ruthless treatment, we want to judge and say that they're animals. Look at them. So I see this original sin of pride manifesting itself in you, my white evangelicals. Being blessed because you choose to love and cling and recognize who the true chosen people are just wasn't good enough. You wanted more. So in wanting more, not only did you take away their identity and falsely make others the true Jewish, but you also made yourself a god. Because after all, you really don't have a desire to serve God. At least you don't the true God. You will fight tooth and nail for the God of white superiority. But that is so that your God of Christianity will allow you to live your life as a superior, privileged being, greater than everybody else. And that is pride, and that is arrogance, and that is a manifestation of the original sin, way back to the time of Lucifer. And sometimes when I hear what I will in no way, shape, or form in a degrading, but my Hebrews that may be more on the radical side that say white people are demons and devils and they have been created to serve us, you know, that don't rile me up. Because if I'm going to be honest, to see the things that I have seen behind closed doors and the things that I have heard behind the closed doors of pastors and preachers and teachers of the evangelical Christian faith. And when I see what I saw yesterday and the permission that white individuals have the right to do what they want, the injustices, the inequality, and everything else you wanted to say about yesterday, it causes me to look at some of my Hebrew family members that might be a little more radical and say, I just don't know if I completely disagree with what you have to say. Because based on what I have seen and heard, I sometimes wonder myself if my white family members are not demons. Because even yesterday and everything that happened, somebody that I know well responded back to her, maybe with a little bit of emotion, and I said, shame on you, you who were a total Trump follower that told me in my face that God sent Trump to restore this nation unto the Bible and Christianity and the principles of morality. When I confronted you with his behavior, your only words were, yeah, sad day. The power of that original sin of pride. And I said, well, it's a sad day, but remember the blood that's about to come is also on your hands because you laid a vote for him in December, November. And it's going to be a sad time for you. Again, these are not my words. This is what I read in Scripture. This is what I read when I take some of your very own Christian theology and now ask you what your issue is. You never had an issue to some degrees, you know, protecting Israel in our common day America. But now you have an issue because the true chosen have dark pigment skinned. The true chosen are actually those that you have deliberately created as subhuman, less than you. And now You're going to swallow the truth that you're going to have to cling to the very people deep down inside you can't stand. All because of that pride to be great, the greatest, even greater than God. And Trump himself alluded to that. And your actions, white evangelical America, speak that you believe that. You don't believe there's no way that a God would bring any type of judgment or punishment or consequence for your seed planting, because you believe you're still this good superior being that has been entrusted to colonize the world and make them into good Christians under white evangelical Christianity, so that you can maintain yourself as God over this earth, which in a season now, isn't that kind of, as Christianity teaches, Satan kind of has control? Starts to really line up when you begin to really walk into this revelation. And to the extent that my white evangelical family members have gone through all of these decades to really cover up the truth and try to make us, because we have white skin, seem like that we are greater and supreme. And yet it all boils down to the original sin of pride. Well, I confess that pride. And I lay my life before the Most High Yah, His Son, Yahshua HaMashiach, which is of a dark pigment skin tone. And I also lay my feet before my Hebrew family members, and I ask you to forgive me for the years and even the times now when my thoughts or my mind may go into a place that I think I am superior over you, because my forefathers have lied in making me feel like I am greater because I have this type of skin. Well, I am more than satisfied to be blessed through my Hebrew family members, because 27 years later, my life has been blessed through who I now have come to know are my Hebrew family members. And I would not give up living in an inner city with sights that are not real beautiful, probably not the white picketed fenced yard that I grew up believing I would have. But what profits a man to gain the whole world but yet forfeit his soul? I'd rather be blessed through my Hebrew family members than to be cursed because I reject them. Shalom.